Oh, yeah. You know there'll be a lot of those plaid jackets at TD Place tonight, but the Bomber fans representing too, and nothing will keep you warmer on a chilly night than a throwback Bomber blanket with Matt Dunnigan's name on it, Matty.
What's up with that sweatshirt she's wearing, though? Come on. Hey, this guy, he's been the most dominant back, in my opinion, over the last 4 years. 4 years going over 1,000 yards. He's chasing another guy by the name of William Powell, 40 yards ahead of him for the rushing title.
William Powell doesn't have the notoriety Andrew Harris yet, but he does have the league's rushing lead, plus a league-leading 6 100-yard games.
Is that Lewis Ward? Possible MOP candidate for the kicker for the Red Blacks? Yes, it is. 40 or 41 on the year. 37 in a row. Only 2 away from tying the CFL single-season record.
Oh, come on inside where it's warm. The convergence of turkey and pigskin Thanksgiving Day weekend. Welcome. By the way, the reference to the 1988 Grey Cup. Matty loved the blanket, but was on the other side, not in Winnipeg for that game. Another story from Ottawa football in the past. Tonight, though, it is the Red Blacks and the Bombers. Jim Barker, Matt Dunnigan, Milt Stegall here. I'm Rod Smith. The last time these teams met 7 weeks ago, Ottawa laid a beatdown on the Bombers. It started a slump, a 4-game slump, Milt, for Winnipeg. Now, they've come out of it. They look great in Edmonton last week. But what are you watching for tonight?
They look great. The defense looked great. I need that offense to pick it up now. I need that offense to come alive. I need Matt Nichols to have a great game. He hasn't thrown for 300 yards yet in the season. In 3 of his last 4 games, he hadn't thrown for 200 yards. Also, Andrew Harris hadn't been the best over the last 3 games, only 138 yards. Their 2 superstars, along with those other guys, have to come up big.
I want to see what defense can make the other quarterback dance the most. Look, Winnipeg was making Mike Riley dance a whole lot last week, and I want to see what defense. Noel Thorpe's defense has the capability of stepping up and making Matt Nichols dance a lot. We know what Winnipeg's defense can do when they bring 6, 7 people. They made Mike Riley dance a lot last week, and I really think they got to do the same to Trevor Harris. You can't let that guy sit back there and pick you apart and throw it 45 times a game.
I love how former quarterbacks love to see quarterbacks now playing
get hit. Success. Yes, that's key success.
I think a more something that's more important than that is which team's going to be able to establish a run. No, which team can establish William Powell or Andrew Harris.
That's right.
The team that gets that going, that's going to be
the big part. Don't forget about the kicker.
That's a big part of
Lewis Ward,
2
away from tying the record of Paredes. Big one coming up to start off Thanksgiving Day weekend.
Is he in? Touchdown! Dominic Rhymes for CFL touchdown. Ball is loose. It's a touchdown.
John Quayle of Winnipeg. You could win groceries for a year if the kickoffs return for a touchdown in this game. Thanks to Safeway Sobeys $1 million touchdown to win promotion. And should it happen a second time in this game, you could also win $1 million. Good luck, John. To the nation's capital we go on a Friday night in October to Rod Black and Dwayne Ford.
And yes, Rod, it's a chilly Friday night in October, but happy Thanksgiving weekend, everybody. Thanksgiving Feast of Football this weekend. Week 17 kicks off. An East-West battle tonight. 2 teams that met over a couple of months ago, and William Powell had a big night in Winnipeg.
Well, he certainly did, and William Powell is enjoying a big season. The Canadian Football League rushing leader. He's over 1,100 yards thus far, leading the way with 1,141. Very close behind is this man, Andrew Harris, the key to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers offense. Also over 1,100 yards at 1,101. He sits at number 2 in the Canadian Football League.
We've got the rushers, we've got the kickers tonight. Justin Medlock, his team scores a lot of touchdowns. 44 straight point afters. And how about this guy? A rookie. Could move closer, could set a new CFL record for most consecutive field goals ever made. Lewis Ward tonight at home at TD Place Stadium. Kim Murphy's our referee, and he's wired up tonight with the ref cam. We'll get some good views of the turf here at TD Place Stadium at Lansdowne Park. Richie Leone puts it off the tee, and it's in the air, and away we go. Rashawn Simonize muffs that kick, and down he goes. And not a good start for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in field position as they get hemmed down near their 8-yard line, and Matt Nichols And this roller coaster season has seen his team win 2 straight games.
And Matt Nichols had a little bit of a rough patch. Seems to have the Bombers back on the rails, though. But that rough patch included and kind of began with a tough outing against these Ottawa REDBLACKS. So he would certainly like to erase that with a strong performance tonight.
Back in August 17th, Bombers lost 44-21. Began a 4-game skid. 1st and 10 near the goalpost. And Andrew Harris out of the backfield with his stiff arm. There's a penalty flag down. Avery Williams, the middle linebacker, with the initial contact, and Kyrus Hebert also in at linebacker. So they're using both Hebert and Avery Williams together on the field.
15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Not a good start
Winnipeg.
for the REDBLACKS. Roughing the passer, 15-yarder, and that gets them out of the shadows.
And Kim Murphy, as the referee, is the man responsible for watching that pocket. Had a close-up view of that late shot delivered by A.C. Leonard. Looked like he was kind of off balance, maybe didn't mean to hit Nichols that hard. But
then he saw Kim. Did you see him look at him sheepishly? First pass after that penalty to Darvin Adams is complete. So 2nd in short yardage now. Let's take a look at this Winnipeg offense.
Yeah, Winnipeg offense, it's happy to have a healthy Nick Dembski. Gives them an added dimension to that offense, both catching the ball and running with it from the backfield along that offensive line. Rod Black, I know you have this budding bromance with Jamarcus Hardrick.
Just love the way
big energy guy leads that offensive line.
Gets into the end zone afterward. Get the fans going. And the most lovable players in the CFL. Bombers love having him back on the line. Chris Strebler comes in, the backup quarterback, on 2nd in short yardage, goes straight ahead, helmet down, and looks like he has the first down. It may require a measurement. It was 2nd and about 1.5 yards. See the yardstick on the far side.
And you'll get a good look. But Strebler making pretty good progress across the line. You see Andrew Harris and Kai Hebert getting into it already for the 2nd time early in this ball game, so that'll be one to certainly to keep an eye on. See if Hebert is able to get under the skin of Andrew Harris a little bit. Harris being so important to that Winnipeg offense.
He gets under the skin of a lot of players. Kai Hebert, it is a first down. Strebler on the sideline. Nichols back in the pocket, in the gun. And there is Hebert right in the grill again of Andrew Harris as he trips him up. It'll be 2nd and about 5.
Well, we mentioned A.C. Leonard off the top. He'll be anxious to get after Matt Nichols tonight. Leonard has gone 4 games without a sack. On Kevin Brown in the linebacking core. J.P. Bolduc in at free safety tonight as Antoine Pruneau has gone on the 6-game injured list. Bolduc has been a terrific special teams player over the course of his career, making his first start for Ottawa tonight.
So 2nd in short yardage is going to result in 3rd in short yardage. This is actually a bit more yardage than they had to go after the last time. It's almost 3rd and 2 here. And they'll bring up the big guys again and Strebler. Winnipeg team that's only missed 3 times 3rd and short this year. Strebler behind center. And he'll go right side, and he bursts through, and he has another first down. So this Winnipeg team marching the football in their first possession, a team that's very good in first quarters, in first halves this season.
And you'll see Strebler finds a nice little crease here, delays it, and then there's an opening, bounds through to pick up the yardage easily.
Bomber team that also has scored the 2nd most points per game in the CFL. Despite not putting up a lot of yardage offensively, Darvin Adams gets some yardage here. Up near the midfield strike, the 55-yard line.
Adams did well to pick up the yardage after the catch here, working against Randall Evans, relative newcomer on the corner. Great move right here Leaves Evans grasping at air. You see the always active Kai Aber. He's playing at the weak side linebacker spot to start this game. That's where Kevin Brown usually is. Brown on the sidelines.
Up the pipe. A little spin move from Andrew Harris. Looks like he has a first down. Bomber team #1 in the CFL running the football.
And yet another Kyrie Saber, Andrew Harris meeting in the early going. 4th touch already for Andrew Harris, so the Bombers getting him involved early. Saber, the elder statesman, certainly emotional leader of his Red Blacks.
Double tight end set this time. Play action. Nichols guns near sideline, and Drew Wolotarski snares that for another first down, keeping this crowd here at TD Place Stadium very quiet in the early going here.
Well, you see that play action look, 7-man protection for the Bombers, affording Nichols some time to allow that route to develop. Wolotarski, who's quietly emerged as the Bombers' 2nd leading receiver this season. Over 500 yards for him. 2nd-year man out of the University of Minnesota.
Mother, who was born in Montreal and has national status. Nick Dembski with his first touch. Likely setting up a throwing down. 11th play of the drive. Already eating up about 6 minutes on this game clock.
When you consider where this drive started after a rocky opening kickoff return for the Bombers. Very impressive, even just given the importance of field position in the world of Canadian football. Terrific drive to march it into Ottawa territory.
2nd down and 3 from the Ottawa 30. Quick hitter. Aaron toss right into the Ottawa bench, and so this will bring out sure-footed Justin Medlock. Could be a collision of the kickers here tonight. The veteran, former UCLA Bruin, spent time in the NFL, of course. A couple of teams in the Canadian Football League, the Argos and the Cats. Clicking at 86.5%. This kick will come from the 38-yard line to put Winnipeg on the board first here. Clock-chewing drive on their opening possession. Justin Medlock pours it through, and Winnipeg has a 3-0 lead here. 5 weeks left in the season. The playoffs around the corner. Big game here tonight, East and West, and always a big game for #7, Trevor Harris. His first series when we come back. The CFL on TSN is brought to you by the Nissan Titan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League. Cool night here. Right into the thick of autumn in the nation's capital. Thanksgiving weekend north of the border. Great time to be a football fan. So much going on, and the race is heating up. 32-year-old Trevor Harris in the gun. 4-man rush. And right out of the chute to Greg Ellingson, one of his favorite targets.
Well, taking a look at the Ottawa offense, juggling the ratio a little bit tonight, so they'll start an extra Canadian in the receiving corps. It's former Bomber Julian Filigadino at wideout. Along the offensive line, the veteran John Gott makes his way back into the starting lineup.
Quickly behind center. Headed off. William Powell. Burst now. Foot race. And William Powell down to the 30. To the 20. And William Powell, who's had a monster season. The CFL leading rusher had a big game last time these teams met. And out of the gate, he rumbles for 48.
Yeah, things are going to get plugged up on the right side. All the Bombers go inside. Nobody's in contain to turn that play back in. Everybody got caught on the inside, got pinned. Powell recognizes it, bounces it, and turns it into a massive gain.
Kansas State product at 106 yards and a big touchdown in Winnipeg back in August. To the red zone they go. Hitch screen. Deontay Spencer was wrapped up and ripped down by Adam Bighill, who had to get over there in a hurry, or Spencer was end zone bound.
This is kind of a keep you honest hitch screen. You look at how far off the defender is. They don't have anybody getting out in front of Deontay Spencer to block. They just know that with the corner that far off, we'll make the completion and try and let our speedster make some people miss.
Red Blacks issue this season has been in this area in the red zone. Their proficiency there, not very good. Second last in the CFL. Trying to get there now. Powell looks like he'll score. He will score. Touchdown, William Powell. What a start for the Red Blacks offense in their first touch. And what a great start for number 29.
Well, the Red Blacks kind of let Winnipeg know you guys can have the time of possession. But we'll take the points lightning quick. Response to an opening field goal scoring drive by Winnipeg, marching down the field, led by their running back, the league's leading rusher, William Powell.
Goes Powell, but into the end zone. So the Red Blacks, who have the most attempts and most makes for two-point converts this season. Harris keeps it, throws it. 2 points to Brad Sinopoli. 12th time this season they have recorded a two-point convert. Most attempts, most makes. Trevor Harris, 7 of 11 two-point attempts this season. But William Powell, 2 big plays, a 48-yard romp and an 8-yard touchdown. Back in Ottawa, where William Powell, Houston native, began the night leading the CFL in rushing by 40 yards. Added 48 on this play.
Yeah, widens that margin a little bit. He saw Andrew Harris getting all those touches on Winnipeg's first drive, figured he'd get it back. Here on Ottawa's response, Trevor Harris marching his team down the field, culminating with that little pass into the flat to William Powell. Just 4 plays, minute 25 to march down the field for that touchdown.
After the Bombers had the ball for 6 minutes, flagged down as it bounces out of bounds. Rashawn Simonized back, watched that bound away. Bomber defense hasn't given up a touchdown in quite some time.
Ottawa, number 13. The ball will be placed on the 45-yard line.
85 minutes.
Down.
Gave one up in the first series. Week 17 continues tomorrow. Shaw Road to the Grey Cup. Argos in their faint hopes must win out. SJ Green against the BC Lions, coming off a loss last week against Hamilton. Tomorrow at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific time. TSN 1, 3, and 4. Our nation in our nation tonight. Red Black fans pumping up the volume. Matt Nichols goes deep here, over the top, and trying to lay out for it was Weston Dressler. Corey Tyndall says not here.
Well, the Bombers use play action. You see Dembski coming cross formation on the fake. That creates a little bit of time, those 2 run fakes for Matt Nichols in the pocket. But just beyond the fingertips of a diving Weston Dressler. Maybe need a little taller receiver.
It's gone 122 straight games with at least a reception. Good chance he'll keep that streak going here tonight. Nichols, far side, and staying in bounds. A tightrope block by Nick Dembski. Or Manitoba Bison, Saskatchewan Rough Rider. Dembski hauls it in on the far side.
A rather acrobatic grab right here Climbs the ladder to get it. Presence of mind to watch his feet coming down. Make sure he gets inside that white line.
Dembski had such a torrid start to the season, then flatlined a little bit. It's a dual threat with both he and Andrew Harris, the two Winnipeg natives, in the lineup. Both can run, both can catch. Hit screen to Kimbrell Tompkins. Spun down after he was hit by Jonathan Rose.
A nice execution here. Anthony Chaffee is blitzing. You're going to see him flash. Left hand just past Matt Nichols there. Nichols knows he's coming. He's got to have a play where the ball's getting out in a hurry. Gets delivered for a nice first down pickup.
Last week, Nichols only had one pass deeper than 20 yards. Doesn't have that here tonight. Did go deep once, incomplete. Throwing down 2nd and 4. Dances out of the pocket and throws it and delivers it again to Dembski. It's a first down, Winnipeg. And already 5 different receivers for the Bomber quarterback tonight, including Dembski.
Yeah, nice effort here from Matt Nichols, using his feet just to buy a little bit of time. Step up, eyes downfield the whole way. Spots Nick Dembski coming in, open into that in the open window. Dembski, the number 3 receiver, working across the field, across the hash marks.
Play will not get off. Again, our referee tonight is Kim Murphy.
Procedure. Winnipeg, number 66. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Will push them back. Left tackle Stanley Bryant. Matt Nichols, who is 35 and 26 lifetime as a starter, has thrown more touchdowns against Ottawa than any other CFL opponent. But he's also thrown more interceptions. 17 to 14. Swinging it out. There's Dressler, 123 in a row. And Weston Dressler slips and slides down to the 25-yard line. Veteran, sure-handed receiver Dressler has a 16-yard pickup.
Yeah, Weston Dressler, 11 years in. You see him coming out of the backfield, and Andrew Harris just to his left as well. It's going to create a little bit of confusion in terms of who's taking who, with those guys both taking outside releases. Ottawa was late to pick up Dressler as he went to the flat. Nichols recognized that, got him the ball in timely fashion. Weston Dressler, 11 years in, can still make some people miss.
Pitching it out to Dembski. Set up another second down. Bomber offense certainly moving the football and owning the play clock and the game clock.
Yeah, I'm not sure how the defensive coordinators feel about the first quarter of this game, but offensive coordinators, Paul LaPolice for Winnipeg, who you see, Jamie Elizondo for Ottawa, have to be pleased with what they've seen from their units so far. Ottawa DC Noel Thorpe looking for a stop right now.
Back inside the red zone. Nichols 9 for 11. Bombers 4th in the CFL from this area. And Andrew Harris. Gerard Tavai runs him out of bounds.
A kind of a creative play from Winnipeg, as you're going to see. They kind of fake the shovel pass and then go to the option. There's the fake on the shovel coming underneath. Pitch it on that option out to Andrew Harris. They're trying to hold the defender, but J.R. Tavai did a nice job to maintain his position.
That is a first down, Winnipeg. Outside the 11-yard line. Threatening here early. Slant pattern to Adams, who's scoring a touchdown. Darvin Adams slips a tackle. The Bombers' offense finds the house.
Another well-executed drive here from the Bombers. Harris in protection. Nice move after the catch from Darvin Adams to spin off the would-be tackle of Jonathan Rose. Fight his way into the end zone.
2:30 left in this opening quarter. We've had some fireworks offensively. Justin Medlock, 44 straight converts this season, 54 in a row, dating back to last year. Using that clock, using the real estate. Big drive for the Bombers.
Yes, sir. 9 plays, 65 yards, 3 minutes and 51 seconds, and now the lead.
Darvin Adams, 8th touchdown of the season.
Brian Liquor made my dog insane.
Some assists from Kenbrell Tompkins.
I already know you're going to like him. I don't need discussion.
Nick Dembski, but a lot on Matt Nichols. Putting on a clinic so far here tonight. Two drives for the Blue Bombers to start this ball game, and they put points on the board on both.
Well, 2 drives, and the Bombers have run already 19 offensive plays in this football game.
See how this trends out now. Is Deontay Spencer. Slides one way. What a move here, and then a great tackle to prevent any further damage by Marcus Sayles to stop the dangerous Deontay Spencer.
Well, Deontay Spencer, always kind of the X factor for the Ottawa REDBLACKS, whether it's on offense or special teams, a guy who's capable of turning in a big play at any moment. Certainly one of the fastest players in the Canadian Football League.
2-point ball game. Huge difference in time of possession. 10:57 for Winnipeg, a minute 55 for Ottawa, but they have been economical and efficient and quick. And one thing about this team, they get to the line and they go up tempo quickly as R.J. Harris has his first catch of the night.
And Trevor Harris did a nice job adjusting on that play. His first look was to Greg Ellingson in the flat. He was covered. Did a nice job immediately getting off that, finding R.J. Harris, the crosser, on his secondary look.
Trevor Harris changes that play. 5 receiver set. Another quick hitter to Spencer. Setting up another throwing down. Chris Randall out on his island, makes the play.
And we see a different look at the hitch to Deontay Spencer that time, with the defense in closer quarters. Not a read or option route that time, but actually a called hitch. There's Jamie Elizondo, the offensive coordinator.
2nd down and 8. Little low toss, but it's still good for Spencer. Significance there, making the degree of difficulty, and then the yards after catch, although it looks like he may have been nicked up here. Could be bad news for the REDBLACKS. Spencer provides such a different option in that stealth receiving core.
Deontay Spencer lines up as the wide man. A little bit of a cluster look in the releases with Ellingson and Harris this time. Looking to have those two clear as he comes underneath.
He's got pancaked. And one of the hardest hitters in the Canadian Football League.
Yeah, Taylor Loeffler was in on that one.
Had the wind knocked out of him as he.
You know, when Matt Dunnigan used to wear number 16 for the Bombers, he had the flowing locks like that out from under the helmet too.
Big guns. Don't think he ever wore that on his face, though. The Warrior paint. Famous number in Winnipeg. Taylor Loeffler wearing that. Saw that Matt Dunnigan blanket out there earlier. And, Rick Campbell concerned. Matthew Shinetti is our sideline reporter here in Ottawa tonight. We'll try to get an update on Deontay Spencer. This will not be good. Down for a while here.
Well, an injury was the only thing that was going to slow down the pace of this first quarter.
Ratio tonight. Dominic Rhymes was a scratch. That is much more promising as Spencer makes his way to the sideline again. Trying to get a report on his status. REDBLACKS another first down.
And it looked like it was possible that Spencer might have just landed on the football when he got tackled, which with the ball under the gut or under the chest can sometimes not be the most comfortable thing.
Nice State product. Four receivers, they give it to Powell. Last time two teams met, the collision of running backs, although they never really collide, but Powell had 106 yards and a touchdown. Andrew Harris had 83 total yards and a touchdown on 15 touches. Harris is a little more of a dual threat, but both of these guys can do it on the turf and in the air. Last play, opening quarter that's flown by. Harris now has to tuck it and take it. And he looks like he has a first down. Couldn't find anybody home, called his own number. And it's another first down for the REDBLACKS. They trail by 2 here.
Friday Night Lights. Let's go.
The Friday night lights are on, and so are the offenses here. 10-8 Winnipeg on Friday Night Football. Good game here tonight. Leaves start to fall. Temperature starts to cool down. Turkey's in the oven this weekend, partner. Get some in Montreal on Monday, but happy Thanksgiving to everyone watching. Hope you enjoy your weekend with your families, with your friends, and with us, because it's football time. And tonight was the marquee matchup that was featured at the beginning. Andrew Harris and William Powell, and so far both guys are delivering.
Yeah, they sure have. Through the first quarter, those guys have combined for 75 yards of offense. Powell with the bulk of it, 54 yards total. He's had that big run and, of course, a touchdown catch to culminate things. Andrew Harris has been a little busier. 4 touches, 21 yards for the Bomber running back.
William Powell is such a factor back in August 17th, and touchdown that sealed it, really. Score was not indicative of the game. The game was much closer, it seemed. Bombers were in it, and a couple of costly miscues. So it's not exactly McGregor against Khabib, but it's Harris against Powell.
Yeah, and two guys who have had very similar seasons. You look at the touches per game, not very far off, and the production going along with it, very similar as well. Two of the best in the business. And you know, you mentioned the dual threat thing with Harris. William Powell is a guy who I think is underrated as a receiver. Ottawa didn't throw to him a lot early in the year, but have more since about the first third of the season.
Brad Sinopoli having his best season in the CFL. 4 straight 1,000-yard seasons for the Canadian receiver. First in receptions. That is his 86th on the year. And the shovel pass. Something you don't see Sinopoli do too often. It's going to set up another second down play here in the red zone.
Yeah, good recognition and reaction from the Bombers here defensively. Not surprised at all to see Adam Bighill right on top of that one.
And the night, 592 career tackles, 18th on the all-time list. Key second down here. Bombers trying to hold the REDBLACKS to a field goal attempt. Harris back to pass quickly, looking, and down he goes. First sack of the ball game comes from Chandler Fenner. So that will bring out Lewis Ward, who is on an incredible ride right now for the first-year kicker.
Well, Chandler Fenner is up at the top of that Bomber defensive line. They mix it up, only send 3 guys, dropping defensive linemen, dropping their defensive ends, bringing the linebackers Fenner and Big Hill off the edges.
This kick to move within one of the all-time record for most consecutive made. He has been automatic. An amazing story. Guy who was a security guard here a year ago. A walk-on in college, a walk-on with the REDBLACKS. And he's played like an all-star. 38 straight for Lewis Ward. "25-year-old out of Kingston, Ontario, former University of Ottawa GG, Lewis Ward." Could be a crazy night, a record-breaking night for him. Here's Matthew Shinetti.
Rob, there's so much myth building, and you touched upon it before the break about Lewis Ward. He was a security guard here. He was here for Burgess to Ellington. He was here for the Grey Cup. He was here for that snowy East final against the Edmonton Eskimos. And, of course, he was stopped by security because they didn't think he was a REDBLACKS player. Let me add another one for you. He actually went to OTA's off-season training with the rookies and first-year players, free agents that were signed, and he took part in every single exercise. It's something that kickers don't have to do. They can just go ahead and just kick. But Ward wanted to be a part of everything because he was a receiver back in high school, and he didn't want to leave anything to chance. And that's the one thing that everybody here, the staff with the REDBLACKS, says is that he's just one of the guys. He wants to do everything. And the one thing, though, that his head coach says with a smile, he's kind of boring. He's good at everything, guys.
Well, he's boring because he's so consistent. Great story, great young man, and could become part of greatness tonight. We'll find out. Nichols going deep here, looking for Dressler. Saw Dembski pick up that first down earlier.
Well, yeah, I mean, you want to talk about not boring. That played by Nick Dembski. They go true Wildcat here with Nick Dembski as the guy taking the snap. Matt Nichols lined up as a receiver. He fakes a toss to Harris. Runs basically a quarterback counter back the other way. Nice little creative addition to the Bombers playbook.
Mastermind upstairs, Paul LaPolice. Game that the preview had a lot of talk about the defenses. So far it's all been old. Nichols near sideline, caught by Adams in Ottawa territory. A little aggressiveness on the sideline.
Yeah, Randall Evans in coverage over there again, went after the football. Wrestling, he and Adams wrestling with it. I don't know if you really want to get into it when you're on the other team's, right in the other team's bench area.
You look up and go, oh. Come these guys are wearing all white jerseys. 1st and 10 from the Ottawa 46 for Nichols. 4 minutes gone, second quarter. Andrew Harris tried to hurdle, but got tripped up. A couple of bodies in front.
A little pile up at the line of scrimmage. I believe it was Danny Mason, defensive end for the Ottawa REDBLACKS, who managed to get a piece of Harris as he tried to step over top. Took on the block of the center, Matthias Gosen, and then reacted there to make a play on the ball carrier.
Winnipeg team that's 3rd in the CFL in second down conversions. 50% of the time. 2nd and 9. Quick hitter. 1st down, Winnipeg down to the 35-yard line. And once again, it's Dembski who has been utilized quite a bit early in this ball game.
He's going to line up as the number 2 receiver in the slot, right on the hash mark. Quick slant, makes that break in front of his defender. Just a high percentage play when they're giving you that cushion. Easy completion.
Speaking of high percentage, 40, how about the second down rates for both of these teams tonight?
Yeah, Winnipeg 7 of 9. Ottawa 4 for 5.
Andrew Harris tries to follow a couple blocks between some gaps. It likely will set up another throwing down for the Blue Bombers.
Make your getaway with intelligent all-wheel drive in the 2018 Nissan Qashqai.
The 7-7 Winnipeg Blue Bombers invading the nation's capital tonight The 8-5 REDBLACKS. All these games so important right now. The playoff positioning. REDBLACKS can clinch a playoff spot tonight. Bombers in a log jam, and that's batted down. And it's going to bring out Justin Medlock for a field goal attempt. So that time, second down doesn't work out for the guys in blue and gold.
Danny Mason is a guy who's been a nice find for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, lined up at that defensive end, or excuse me, for the Ottawa REDBLACKS. That defensive end spot. He's a guy who seems to be in on a lot of plays. Athletic, big body, has the length you're looking for in a defensive end. Using those long limbs on that play to get up and block the pass from Matt Nichols.
Mason out of Texas A&M Commerce. Medlock. Two sure-footed kickers here tonight. One left-footed, one right-footed, one a veteran, one a rookie. Might come down to last kicks tonight. Back and forth they go, a slugfest offensively early. And this guy's led the charge. Back in Ottawa, William Powell's already scored here tonight. 6 100-yard games and also a 1,000-yard season back-to-back in quite some time here in Ottawa. A little ball of hate. Josh Ronick was a renegade when that last happened. Harris looks one way, goes the other, and Spencer drops it. Wanted to make sure he had it, but it was whistled down. The ball did go forward. It was not a lateral. It was a pass.
And nonetheless, good reaction by Deontay Spencer after losing the handle on the ball to recognize hitch screen that could be considered a lateral and therefore a fumble if it's not caught. So you better get on it right away.
That's the first receiver who hasn't caught a ball for Ottawa tonight. Andrew Harris now 9 of 10. 2nd and 10. Harris. There's a flag down in the backfield as he threw that football. Brad Sinopoli, pass was complete, got a little roughhoused on the far sideline.
This is going to be a hold against Ottawa.
So that play will be taken back.
Illegal block, hands to the face. Ottawa, number 64. That's a 10-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Keep an eye on number 64 at left guard. Evan Johnson just to the left of quarterback Trevor Harris. We saw Adam Big Hill's helmet and head get pushed back.
2nd and 20. And movement. Ottawa trying to keep this drive going. Every team that's had the ball tonight has scored somehow.
Offside. Winnipeg, number 54. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Tristan Opolugo. So we'll make it 2nd and 15 now, but each possession we've had points on the board. Stutter step. Deep drop for Harris, now steps up, and there's Opolugo with redemption and a sack. Tristan O. brings down Trevor Harris.
Yeah, rather immediate redemption for Opolugo to the bottom left of that defensive line, number 54. Nice job on the spin move. Working on Jason Lauzon-Séguin.
First time tonight we bring out one of the punters.
Just be smart like that the rest of the way.
Chileone, second leading punter in the Canadian Football League. High kick. Kevin Fogg. It's for a seam and brings it up near the 47-yard line. There's Tristan O. Opolugo with his 4th sack of the season. And a Bomber team with a 2-point lead on Thanksgiving weekend and Friday night football. So much talk before the year about a 1K season for Andrew Harris. That talk's kind of diminished, but he's still the man in the Winnipeg backfield. Here's Matthew Shinetti.
And Rod, it's very rare that we get a sense of the kind of preparation that goes into being an athlete like Andrew Harris. And yesterday, he kind of took us into that process. He explained that when he's preparing for a team and a defense, he watches the best 5 tacklers on that defense, and he's looking to break down how they tackle. Do they shoulder tackle? Do they look to blow a guy up? Do they go low? Do they wrap up? All of that's important because the way Andrew Harris wants to play his game is he wants to attack defenders and how they tackle. See if he can get the defense off balance. And when we asked one former notable tackling technician, Mike O'Shea, he smiled and says, there's a difference between being good and great. That kind of preparation makes Andrew Harris great. Guys.
Oh, he is great. Lines up in the eye, takes the rock, and goes right up the pipe. Andrew Harris also talked yesterday about his ability to take a hit, which he says was formed back from his hockey days.
Yeah, willingness to deal with that contact. You know, as Andrew Harris has gone through his career, you know, you got to remember this is a guy who, by football standards, was just a kid when he entered the league out of junior football with the BC Lions. So he's got bigger and stronger over the course of his career.
2011, of course, his breakout. Most outstanding Canadian in the Grey Cup game for the Lions. Then had a chance to go home and play in Winnipeg. Strebler goes left side, moves the sticks. Mike O'Shea talked about Andrew Harris and that good to great philosophy that exists with so many elite players. One of the things that he talked about is his attention to detail, how he's in all the meetings. He wants to know more. He's like a student. He's like a sponge, and he wants to get better, even though he's been in the league for a while.
Preparation is such a key. One of the few things you can control in the world of sports is your preparation.
They keep Strebler in again for another play here. Strebler, who began the season, of course, the starting quarterback for Winnipeg with Matt Nichols on the shelf unexpectedly. And this is what Strebler can do. He averages about 5.5 yards a carry. This will increase the average somewhat.
Yeah, obviously some designed runs in the playbook for Strebler.
And design plays here. He'll stay on the field. 1st and 10. Looks like he's going to throw this time. Maybe he can go. He has loads of room. Chucks it up. And Chris Strebler, if he looks back on that film, I think Chris Strebler would take that football because he might have been able to go for 20.
Yeah, there was room to run, but he had a couple of receivers out there. Wolotarski ended up being the intended target, but Weston Dressler's going to appear crossing the field from right to left on your screen as well, and he's open as well. So a couple of open options right here. You'll see number 1 receiver, the wideout Wolotarski, is the chosen target. But again, watching the flat for Weston Dressler wide open as well. Just misfired on the throw.
Avery Williams was closing in on Strebler too, and no flag down on that play. It was a high tackle on Darvin Adams. It's going to be 3rd down and almost 5 yards here. Adams almost had his helmet ripped off here.
Well, we've seen Adams a couple of times. He's so great after the catch, making people miss, but a good call by the officials recognizing Jonathan Rose was strictly on the shoulder pads and jersey, not on the helmet or face mask.
Medlock 2 for 2 tonight. This one from the 44-yard line. Right down Bank Street. 4 minutes to go before halftime. And the Blue Bombers open up a 5-point lead. And so much talk about the rookie, the freshman, Lewis Ward, and the streak. And Justin Medlock, through the years, so coolly, so competently, so confidently, one of the best kickers this league has seen.
Well, and this is what you want from your place kicker, is reliability. recognize that a kicker's not necessarily going to make every one. Don't tell Lewis Ward, who hasn't missed one since the first game of his CFL career. But the level of dependability that Justin Medlock has supplied.
There's Spencer taking it off his back shoulder, and again, the yak yards after catch. Deontay Spencer following a convoy for 21 big yards onto the Bombers' side of the field. So Deontay Spencer is obviously okay, by the way. They'll line up quickly again, no huddle. Try to answer another Winnipeg field goal. Harris pulls it back on the read option, and second effort and more from Brad Sinopoli.
I just want to go back to that last play, the first down. Keep an eye on Greg Ellingson here. He's responsible for that block. Kind of an awkward collision between Ellingson and Brandon Alexander. Both were very slow to get up afterwards, but that was the key block that allowed Spencer to break contain and get to the outside.
Dominic Davis, the former Bomber quarterback who scored a pair of touchdowns last time these teams played, is the short yardage quarterback for Ottawa. Will go behind center, and looked like he fumbled the football, and Sinopoli looked like he had it between his knees. The Bombers say they have it. This is a Winnipeg team that takes away the football like no other recently. Davis had his arm outstretched awkwardly. The ball was taken away. Still no signal.
I think it's still Ottawa ball, third down.
They did not get the first down. They did get the football thanks to Brad Sinopoli. It is the 3-minute warning on the field here at TD Place Stadium in Ottawa tonight.
And get rewarded.
3 minutes to halftime. Coming up, we'll look at the creativity of both offenses so far, including Winnipeg's use of Nick Dembski. Also some praise for one of the fundamentals of the game, tackling. And a look ahead to the rest of the holiday weekend in the CFL. Back to Ottawa, Rod and Gway.
All right, thank you guys. Happy holiday weekend to you all. Third down, and Harris stays in and hands it off. And they go over the top to move the sticks, and normally that's a Dominic Davis call, but maybe the fact that Davis didn't secure the football last play, that's why he's on the sideline. Let's take a look at that fumble on third down through the eyes of Kim Murphy.
Yes. He's trying to come over the top. He gets met in the air, and that ball is popped out. Fortunately, Sinopoli in position to recover it and keep the drive alive for Ottawa.
Winnipeg by 5. 4 lead changes already. And second meeting of the season between these two teams. Ottawa handed it to Winnipeg on their home turf in mid-August. Schedule winding down. Ottawa has 4 after tonight. Winnipeg has 3.
Ottawa, number 58. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
5-yard penalty and taking it out of field goal range here as well. But it is first down and 15 near the Winnipeg 50. Powell's in the backfield. Delayed draw here. William Powell. It's up about 6. Biggest thing for William Powell, 40. Look at the yards. Look at the numbers. The biggest number, GP.
Yeah.
Games played.
Yeah, no question. A healthy William Powell is a wonderful thing for the Ottawa REDBLACKS. It's always been productive. As you alluded to, it's just been a matter of how many games they have him in the lineup for.
Tore his Achilles back in 15, missed 2016. There's a floater up for Harris. And now it'll be third down this will be a long field goal attempt for Lewis Ward. One of the most challenging for Lewis Ward. And it would be one to tie the streak set by Rennie Paredes back in 2013. Lewis Ward's only missed one field goal this season. That was Paredes back in 2013.
As long as 47, this one's going to come from about 46 and a half. But they're going to kick it onside.
They are kicking it onside, or will they? No, they won't. It's a fake. And they don't get the first down. So Ward lined up, then lined up lefty to kick it onside. Then it was pulled back and driven up the middle. Richie Leone and the Red Blacks give up the football here.
And I don't know if Winnipeg defensively had time to go through a long thought process on this, but what went through my mind is, with Lewis Ward so close to a record, I didn't think that they were going to have a field goal attempt where he wasn't going to try and make it, quite frankly. Meaning where he was going to kick the ball intentionally wide to try and pick up yards.
Blitz, Nichols, and there's an interference call, an easy one downfield, right in front of the Winnipeg bench. Darvin Adams was lassoed by Randall Evans.
Yeah, seeing the tail end of that
Pass
play.
interference. Ottawa, number 2. Point of foul, automatic
And it's
first
a point
down.
of foul, Dwayne, as well. It's a 31-yarder on this interference call.
Yeah, the biggest surprise to me, seeing the tail end of it live, is that Randall Evans was surprised by the call. But I'll tell you what, you look at that replay, that may have been a little bit of a sell job by Darvin Adams.
They'll pound the ground. There's a flag down. An illegal block here, a hold. Let's see what the call is with 1:15 to go. That last exchange, of course, was a turnover and downs by the Red Blacks. A Winnipeg team +9 in the turnover ratio, have scored more points off of turnovers than any other team.
Holding
100
Winnipeg, number 59.
points.
It's a 10-yard penalty, remains first down.
Conversely, Ottawa 59 points off turnovers. There's a lot of points off of turnovers for the Bombers.
Yeah, for a team like Winnipeg, that goes a long, long way towards adding a couple of victories to your season total.
But it's 1st and 20. They backed up into their own zone just past the midfield stripe. Nichols, pocket passing again to Darvin Adams. Sixth catch of the game already for Adams.
Yeah, Adams, as usual, taking most of his snaps at that boundary wide receiver spot. A lot of one-on-one opportunities over there. A good route runner and talented receiver to go to work.
Second down. Bombers look to get a first down. They could bring Medlock out for a field goal if they don't make it, because he has the leg. And do they move closer? There's a signal of a catch, and it is Kenbrell Tompkins down near the 35-yard line. That's much more attainable field position if Medlock has to kick a field goal.
Nice effort here from Kenbrell Tompkins to go to the turf, make sure to get the hands underneath that one.
4 NFL seasons for Tompkins, former Cincinnati Bearcat. The rush is on. Dressler has the ball. Jean-Philippe Bolduc, who's filling in for Antoine Pruneau. That's a tough one tonight. Bolduc at free safety. Former Laval star filling in for his roommate, an all-star.
Yeah, easy to get a few tips from the starter when You're sharing living space.
Apparently they go over a lot of film. Probably play a little Fortnite.
Well, Duke originally a Calgary Stampeder draft pick.
Bombers on the move. Nichols is in trouble, and he's going down. Flag down. First sack of the game for the Red Blacks. They were in quickly on Matt Nichols. Call might be a hold. It is. Campbell declines that, takes the sack.
Holding. Winnipeg, number 33. That penalty is declined. Second down.
Once again, Kim Murphy. The referee's responsibility here. He's watching what goes on in the pocket.
George Ugo caused the disruption.
First man in.
And there was a gang sack. Danny Mason got credit for it. Andrew Harris spinning now. Harris pounds his way down inside the 25-yard line. It will be short of a first down. We'll bring out Medlock once more. We began the night talking about the rushers. We've seen both do a lot of this, and we've been talking about the kickers, and they also have been busy.
Yeah, terrific run from Andrew Harris. Started with the spin move on Kevin Brown, sidestepped Randall Evans for lowering his shoulder going into contact.
Time ticking down, likely the final play of a first half. Lots of offensive yardage. William Powell's been good. Andrew Harris has been good. Lewis Ward on a streak. And Justin Medlock has only been perfect. 19-11 Winnipeg at the half here in Ottawa tonight. Medlock 4 for 4. Let's head back to the studio. Here's Jim Barker, Milt Stegall, Matt Dunnigan, and our man Rod Smith. Happy Thanksgiving weekend, boys.
Right back at you, Rod Black. Thank you. You know, it's interesting. Lewis Ward is going for this record now. I'm sure they're not thinking of the record here. They got a ball game to win, but that said, are you a little surprised that they didn't try for the field goal 46 yards away?
Well, 46 is makeable, but this is playoff football. We're in October. This is the time you got to play to win.
Yeah.
And to me, to go for that kind of a fake where it's a possible pooch kick where they could recover it for a first down or a touchdown if they didn't send enough players out with them, or because they sent players out, they felt they had a gap to run the ball. Now you got Richie Leone running the ball, but
but
the thought process of winning the game.
Well, you're playing aggressive. Bob Dice, special teams coordinator, is outstanding for the Ottawa Redblacks. Thought he saw something.
That was Rick Campbell's call.
But Bob Dice is the one that's implemented and teaching it throughout the course of the week. And you know, it had nothing to do with Lewis Ward's record field goal attempt there. It's 46-yarder. You think you're going to kick that all the time. But it came down to special teams coordinators. Paul Boudreau, special teams coordinator for Winnipeg, his team stepped up to the plate with more sure tackling, which we've seen a lot of in the first 30 minutes.
If I'm Lewis Ward, I'm like, I've been money. I've made 38 in a row. Give me an opportunity to kick the field goal. I don't understand that one.
Instead, the Bombers march down, and they pick up a field goal to extend their lead, Jim. You liked overall in that first half the play calling, though.
Well, both offensive coordinators, Paul LaPolice, Jamie Elizondo, Jamie's coming off a bye week. They created situations with formations and moving players around that just kept the defenses off balance. I mean, I don't think it was a fat case. I asked Matt, is this bad defense or great offense? And he was right. It's high execution. This is October football in the CFL. And I like I say, I felt with spot passes, some wildcat, it was a fun offense, both sides to watch.
And one of the guys who's totally taken advantage of that offensive coordinator Paul LaPolice is Nick Dembski. You know, Paul was given another car in the race with in the offseason is Nick Dembski. Sorry about that. And Andrew Harris is the main piece to this offense, but Nick Dembski, getting him back after missing a game is very important because he can do so much. You can line him up at running back. You can line him up at outside receiver. You see him right here in the Wildcat with a long run. He provides so much for this offense where we can line him up. You don't know what's going to go on with him. So he's valuable. He can return punts also, and they're definitely benefiting from having him back. You think about it. They're having the best half offensively of the season right now, and the big reason has to be Nick
you know what?
Dembski.
Yeah. Nick Dembski. We're going to do, instead of push-ups this time, we're going to do Nick Dembski. Over and over again. I'll tell you what, I was going to say in praise of tackling. I said in praise of tackling, like promoting this half, but it's not just in praise. I mean,
that's the difference in the ball game and its fundamentals. And I really think that Winnipeg's won out in the first 30 minutes of football, because here, this is why you run this play. It is 1st and 15. You play this defense, and if you're Jonathan Rose, you got to make that tackle. As Dressler picks up 17 there, and here again, he's trying to strip the ball. Rose doesn't make the tackle. Darvin Adams is in the end zone for a touchdown. On the other side, look at this. This is Winnipeg rallying, and that's a beautiful job there by Randall. And then here, this is Big Hill and Brandon Alexander. Not today. Not running a fly sweep with Brad Sinopoli against our defense. And then here on special teams, getting it done. This is again Marcus Sales in open field and one of the speediest kickoff returners in Deontay Spencer. And watch what Sales does. If he doesn't get this tackle, it's off to the races. To me, that's the difference in the first 30 minutes of football here in a very well-executed offensive scheme and offensive systems for both sides. Defense, tackling has been the difference in the first 30 minutes.
No turnovers. Tackling school.
That's it.
No turnovers, quality football. Fundamentals in the end are going to tell the story.
Yeah. There you go. Late field goal by Medlock, 19-11 lead. This is just game 1 of Week 17 Thanksgiving Day weekend. We're going to set up the other games for you coming back.
Nick Dembski.
Friday Night Lights. Let's go.
William Powell out of the gate. He rumbles for 48. Powell looks like he'll score. He will score. Touchdown. Slant pattern to Adams, who's scoring a touchdown. Happy Thanksgiving. On the menu, some turkey, some ham, and some live microphones.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Now it's time to go eat some turkey.
Eyeing up this moist bird.
They had a turkey. We've got a turkey.
Kind of wish that Milt and Maddie, Rod Smith, Dave Naylor were here.
I don't even know where to attack it.
I am, of course, a vegetarian.
What? I don't think so.
Happy Thanksgiving, Canada.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. And I know it's Friday night, so we still got more of the weekend coming. Where's our bird? Where is our bird? Anyway, we'll talk about the rest of the weekend games. So tonight, if the Bombers win and BC beats the Argos tomorrow, how much pressure is going to be on the Edmonton Eskimos to their game in Saskatchewan on Monday?
You think BC is going to beat the Argos?
I didn't say that.
No.
But if they did, though.
If they did.
To tighten things up in the West that much further.
Man, yeah. And Edmonton at 7-7 with Saskatchewan at 9-5. It's a must-win for the Edmonton Eskimos and a tough place to play and win in Saskatchewan, because if they let Saskatchewan go 6-up, man, there's no way that they're hosting a game, or a playoff game, in hopes of hosting a game. I just think there's so much pressure going on, even in this football game here. The implications that could happen.
Oh, the implications of this game, if Winnipeg wins, what that does to the Saskatchewan Edmonton game, it elevates it.
Well, the thing is, will they be able to protect Mike Riley? We saw what Winnipeg was able to do, putting pressure on Mike Riley. I don't care how physically, mentally tough you are. If you're getting hit during the game, you're going to panic. You're going to make some bad throws. And if Saskatchewan can hit him, if Saskatchewan can hit him and hit him early, it's going to be tough.
And if BC can get that defense going, they got a big chance of stopping a young quarterback, Bethel McLeod-Thompson. That is
McLeod-Thompson.
He's really struggling to find his game as of late.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other game on Thanksgiving Monday, by the way, Calgary-Montreal. Sam's haven't won there since 2013.
Bo Levi Mitchell in Montreal.
There's 0 for 4 over there.
Winnipeg leads at the half, doubling Ottawa in first downs, scoring in every possession, too. Andrew Harris, pretty solid first half. Here he is with Matthew Shinetti.
Andrew, knowing that this could continue to be an offensive fest in the second half, how important is time of possession going to be? Your team did rack up a lot of offensive plays in that first half.
Yeah, I mean, we ended every drive with a kick, getting points, and that's crucial against a good offense in Ottawa. And staying in the field, extending drives, and making sure you're getting points in every drive is important for us.
But you know that Noel Thorpe and that physical defense is going to come out with an adjustment. What has to be the talk at halftime?
We just got to hit them off first. I mean, we just got to keep on pressing, keep on making plays. I think our defense is doing well, special teams is doing well, and offense has got to follow suit.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you.
Defense for the Bombers has tightened up after that great opening drive by the Red Blacks for a touchdown, but it's 19-11 Winnipeg. Second half kickoff coming up. Friday Night Football on TSN.
It's Friday Night Football.
Justin Medlock's 4 field goals, a difference right now. 19-11 Winnipeg at the half. A winner, a tie tonight, clinches a playoff spot for the Red Blacks and could solidify first place in the East. Here's Brad Sinopoli with Matthew Shinetti.
Brad, take us into the locker room. What kind of adjustments so you can end those drives with points?
We just got to stop taking the penalties. I think it's the biggest thing. We're just kind of hurting ourselves right now, and we can't have it in a close game. I mean, they're good on offense, they're good on defense, and every chance we get, we got to take advantage of it.
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you.
Well, they're going to try to take advantage right from the hop here. They'll get the ball first. Medlock will kick it away to the Red Blacks, and likely to see a heavy dose again of William Powell and that Ottawa offense. That was a offensive showcase in many ways in that first half, partner.
Yeah, well, the way the first quarter went, I thought we might have even more points up by halftime, but both teams moving the ball fairly consistently through the opening 30 minutes. It'll be interesting to see if the defenses are able to make some halftime adjustments and catch up a little bit here.
Away we go in the third quarter. Deontay Spencer has trouble with that. Sure if it's the cool temperatures tonight, but we've seen a couple of those that have been muffed. And now Trevor Harris, final practice toss, and out he'll go again with that high tempo offense. This is a team that completes more passes and operates at the highest percentage than any other team in the CFL, and high percentage again for Harris in the first.
Yeah, and this has always kind of been the thing for Trevor Harris, but a very impressive first half for him statistically. Obviously, Ottawa looking for a little more in terms of scoreboard here in the third quarter.
Harris pulling it back and going against the grain, incomplete. Brad Sinopoli said it to Matt Shinetti. You know, gonna have to take advantage in that red zone. Has been a lament for the Red Blacks this season, and kind of one of the reasons, maybe one of the main reasons, Lewis Ward has been on that heavy streak. They've settled for field goals far too often.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ward's accuracy would still be the same, but he might not have been there quite so quickly if the offense could close a little better.
Harris, great catch, fingertip control. Greg Ellingson on the Ellingson sideline.
Yes.
We can rename that over there, can't we?
Greg Ellingson Way.
There it's, well, Greg Ellingson Way is going to be rerouted right now because it was incomplete. Of course, talking about that great play a few seasons ago, Burris to Ellingson, and boy, crowd taking a look on the big screen. They love using that big jumbo screen.
Oh, they love to incite the crowd here with the replays. I'm not sure that's really kosher, but
Rick Campbell thinking about it, and he's doing it. So his one challenge of the game, will use it right now on what he feels was a completed pass. Of course, Ellingson had to have a foot in. Did he have control?
Ottawa is challenging the previous play for an incomplete pass. We'll review the play.
What did you think initially?
Well, my first thought was that he got his feet down in bounds, quite frankly. But
ooh, that's so close.
Yeah, I mean, from that view, you don't see green in between the white of the sideline and the white of his shoe.
You can't see it there. Again, it has to be, well, look at those pebbles of rubber.
This is going to be our best look. See if you see green anywhere when that. There might be.
About that back foot.
You know, it
was that back foot down first.
Already down. 2 feet in.
They're saying 2 feet in from the sideline. We're all looking on that lead foot, but the back foot might have also been down first. So they're looking at this at command. By the way, Rick Campbell uses more challenges than any other coach and has been more successful than any other coach. Just waiting for command to verify the evidence, come to a conclusion on whether they are overturning it or not. Trevor Harris is keeping his team on the field. It would be a first down. So we have a verdict from the court of CFL replay.
After review, the ruling on the field is overturned to a completed pass. It'll be first down, Ottawa.
So that's 6 times that Rick Campbell has won a challenge this year. Winnipeg has only won a challenge once in 5 different occasions. Do you think he has a direct line to those guys who operate the scoreboard?
Maybe. Home field advantage. We may have to get a further breakdown of his challenge record based on home and road games.
Well, they'll reset here, move the sticks to the 37, go first and 10. Change the play and give it to William Powell. Right side and limited to only a couple of yards. Chased out by Jovan Santos Knox. Santos Knox and Adam Bighill have formed quite a tag team, Dwayne.
Yeah, they certainly have. Bighill, a guy who primarily played on the weak side during his time in BC as the middle was occupied by Solomon Elamimian. Bighill has moved to the middle here. Santos Knox has been a great weak side wingman.
Winnipeg so good at interceptions. There's a flag down on the far side. This might be the area of contact against a receiver. We'll see. Looks like it's going against the Blue Bombers.
Illegal contact on a receiver, Winnipeg, number 37. That's a 10-yard penalty. First down, Ottawa.
So regardless of whether they would have picked or not, that would have come back.
Yeah, Brandon Alexander is going to pick up. You see Alexander right there at the left side of your screen. He's going to pick up Brad Sinopoli. You'll see him kind of twist the receiver off balance a little bit. Right there in the midst of the route.
Powell. They are focusing on him right now. There is Adam Bighill. Big stop again. Our Central Washington star, most outstanding defensive player in the Canadian Football League. Back in 2015 with the BC Lions, and of course, last year was with the New Orleans Saints. What a pickup before the season. Tonight, his 100th game. Harris, pocket closes, and he's going down. And so Trevor Harris gets sacked again tonight. It's the 3rd time they've got to him, and this time it's Brandon Bryant with his first sack of the season.
Yeah, Brandon Bryant is the man on the nose. Going to work on the inside, just a 3-man rush.
Alex Mateus lost him. Again, a rare punt tonight. Second one from Richie Leone. Sitting underneath. Kevin Fogg draws a 15-yard penalty and is still going here. They'll take the yardage after this. They won't take the penalty. Good return from a good returner. Kevin Fogg brings it up near the 47-yard line. Early 3rd quarter tonight. 1-possession game, 19-11 Winnipeg. Andrew Harris. Big play, Andrew Harris. Might he have one in him in this drive as we come back to the nation's capital. It is the most popular sci-fi series of all time, and it returns with a new Doctor, and she's ready for an epic season of adventure. Doctor Who, global premiere Sunday at 1:45 Eastern, only on Space. free preview on now. Right up against NFL football. But watch it later.
Got PVR. Who's got PVR?
Who? What? Bombers up 8. First series, third quarter, and Andrew Harris. And the bullseyes on both of these tailbacks, Harris and Powell so far.
Well, Winnipeg's done a good job through the first half of this football game, as they typically do. You've got a strong running game combination of Harris and Dembski getting involved a little bit, but of using play action off of that to help their pass protection, forcing the Ottawa defense to respect the run fakes. Those two productive guys out of the backfield.
Another second down conversion attempt, and it will be converted by Nick Dembski, who's having a good night tonight for the Blue Bombers. Winnipeg now 10 of 15 on second downs.
Dembski, a guy that the Bombers would have loved to have drafted, hometown kid. They had the Saskatchewan Roughriders swoop in to take Dembski just ahead of them in the 2015 draft. Had to wait and sign him as a free agent this offseason.
Flea flicker. Nichols chucking. Finds Wolotarski. Down near the 35-yard line. Their biggest play offensively comes from a little gimmick.
Well, the thing I love is the patience that Matt Nichols shows on this flea flicker, because so often you get these trick plays on, and there's a tendency when you get the ball back that, oh, this is supposed to be a big play, I got to throw the deep ball. The deep ball to Dembski was covered, as you saw on the right side of the screen, so he goes through his reads like a normal passing play, not treating it as a trick play where the ball has to go deep. Wolotarski's wide open underneath. That's where he goes with the football.
Handed off to Dembski this time. Wolotarski, by the way, talked about his mom from Montreal, so declared as a national. He's the first Bomber rookie to record 500 yards receiving since Chris Matthews in 2012. Matthews, of course, making news this week.
Yeah, signed with the Calgary Stampeders. Trying to replenish their battered receiving corps.
Dressler, shot to the side of the helmet, but he's up, close to a first down again. Well, the smallest guys on the field, Dwayne, takes a lot of hits, but Energizer Bunny just keeps catching.
Yeah, and he remains productive. The role is a little different now than it was early in his career. Spent much of his time with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, where you could really make the argument that he was the #1 receiver in that offense. Say here in Winnipeg that Darvin Adams has that role, but Weston Dressler remains such an important cog.
So tight in the CFL West, such an important game for the Bombers. Down the stretch every game. Next week they've got Saskatchewan, then Calgary, and finish off in Edmonton. And who knows the way the wind blows in October. Harris plowing right side. Knocked out of bounds rather vigorously near the 5, but will set up first and goal for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
When we talk about Andrew Harris's balance, how, you know, he's rarely brought down by first contact, but what stands out on this play is Andrew Harris's speed. And he looked like he was going to get run out of bounds close to the line of scrimmage, but he was able to get those legs chugging, turn the corner, and turn it into a first down run.
It's a difference maker when the game gets tight. Began the night 40 yards in arrears of William Powell.
Yeah, Powell leads 70-68, as you may have just seen on your screen. in tonight's head-to-head battle. But Harris just may take the lead by the time this drive is over.
First and goal. Nichols through the uprights. Wolotarski looking for a flag.
Well, Anthony Chaffee was the man in coverage. Not sure that ball didn't go off of his helmet as Wolotarski went up over top of him to try and get the football. No, it looked like it just got into the pads of the Bomber receiver. It's hard to control that deflection. You see it off the hard shoulder pads. Tough position to catch it in his hands.
Second and goal. Again, Nichols. Deep end zone. What a defensive play back there to break that up. Rico Murray. The best the Bombers are going to do here is a field goal attempt. They got to bring out Medlock, who's a perfect 4 for 4 for a chip shot.
Yeah, terrific defensive play here by Rico Murray. It looked like he was beaten by a step, but he has an opportunity to catch up as Dressler and Nichols had sort of run out of space with the sideline right there. Murray closes, gets a hand in there, bats that ball away.
All the talk before the game about the rookie. It's a big night for the vet. Medlock. 5 for 5 now. Opens up an 11-point lead for Winnipeg as we inch closer to the midway point of the third quarter at TD Place Stadium tonight in Ottawa on Thanksgiving weekend. Back in Ottawa, a guy who's become famous or infamous for doing this. Thank God it's not my shoe. This is kind of like the uncle you don't want to have over for Thanksgiving dinner. Watch your shoes, man. Does he have a name? The shoe beer drinker? The shoe drinker? The shoe guy? He's attracted a following.
Now,
the great enemy of shoes.
I'm old and happily married, so I don't know which way you swipe to get away from people on Tinder, but I'm guessing people are swiping to get away from a guy who drinks booze out of a shoe.
He is Mr. Shoebeer, and down the sideline, Deontay Spencer in his shoes. Down near the 50-yard line, best return of the night for the Ottawa REDBLACKS. Sets them up in great position in Winnipeg territory, down 11.
We talked about Deontay Spencer as the X factor for the Ottawa REDBLACKS, that potential to bring a big play at any moment, whether on offense or special teams. Here does it on special teams. The offense needs a little bit of a boost before they let this game get away from them. And Justin Medlock
got in the way.
That's all he needed to do. He gets paid to kick the ball. He's done a great job of that tonight. If he gets in the way like that, that's a bonus.
Pump and go. Harris overthrows Pratsinopoli. Post pattern there. Fake the hitch screen. Looked for 88, so it sets up a second down. Revisiting Winnipeg's choice at first and goal. A couple of passes there. You know, you have Andrew Harris.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of times, obviously, you know, you look and think they're close enough. Why not just go for the running play? But often teams are going to load up the box a little bit too, and you've still got 20 yards of end zone to work with. It's not like you run out of field there.
Trevor Harris runs out of time. It's a sack for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Jeff Hecht has sack number 1 of the season. And takes them right out of field goal position, setting up third down and bringing out Richie Leone. So after that great return by Deontay Spencer, wasted effort here, Hecht comes in on the blitz.
Yeah, Hecht beat the block of William Powell that time. Make the play. Good veteran addition for the Bombers. Great special teamer. Real grinder type what Jeff Hecht has been throughout his career.
Winnipeg has not punted yet. Leone, that's his third punt, trying to pin the Bombers. It'll be a longer field for them this time. St. Mary's product, Jeff Hecht. Special teamer comes up with a special play on defense. 4 sacks tonight for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. NFL on TSN continues Sunday tonight. So are the sweaters. Cool night. And the offensive prowess has cooled down as well for both teams here in the third quarter. Just 3 points on the board. Bobbled snap.
Yeah, it looked like the shotgun snap came out low that time, so Matt Nichols just doing what he could to get on top of that football and avoid the turnover. There's a ref cam look. Yeah, that one down around the shins of Matt Nichols.
Mike O'Shea's defense has risen up here in the third quarter again. 4 sacks. Jeff Hecht actually 2 sacks this season. Only 2 of his career. It was a big one. Keep the REDBLACKS from moving closer to field goal range. Nichols loads of time. Now he has to get out of that pocket and move it. And coming back to the football, close to the first down marker, Darvin Adams. Matt Nichols did well there to extend that play. Looks like Adams is going to be a couple of yards shy. Almost 3 full yards shy.
Yeah. And Adams kind of spun off of the tackle of Jonathan Rose here. Tried to get upfield, but Rose got enough of him right there to drag him out of bounds before Adams could escape.
Fucking like Crystal.
So it is the first punt of the night for Justin Medlock, who's gone 5 for 5 on field goals. Spencer had a good kick return. Start off the half. There should be no yards. Nil at 15. So it'll be an excellent starting point for the REDBLACKS. Still can't find a way to finish drives. Trevor Harris, high percentage tonight. Looking to make some room atop the CFL East. $11-point deficit for Trevor Harris right now. Good starting point as we go down to the sideline and rejoin Matthew Shinetti. Matt?
Rod, every time I'm in the CFL at this time of the year and I'm speaking about Trevor Harris or someone in the league, they often whisper, I don't know if he can do it in the crunch time. I'm not sure he can go ahead and make that critical play or he's going to make a critical error. And it's something that Trevor Harris and his head coach Rick Campbell also are hearing as well. Listen, when you compare the stats between June and September and October and November, there really isn't a difference in Trevor Harris's play. He is as efficient as Bo Levi Mitchell or Mike Riley when you relatively compare the stats. And Trevor Harris will be the first one to remind you that last season in October, he was 3-0. And again, he hears it, what everybody's thinking, but the 2 most important things to him, he says, are my preparation and only what my teammates think of me. Guys?
Well, those are important things for sure. Wants to put another ring on it, though, of course. Back up to Henry Burris when the REDBLACKS won with their 8-9-1 record 2 years ago. He has been Mr. October, though.
And they're the numbers to which Matthew is making reference. June to September. Very high efficiency. Strong touchdown to interception ratio. Still good numbers later in the fall, but not quite as high. I can contend that a lot of times you're seeing teams for a second and third time by that point. Weather becomes a factor in passing the football as well.
J.C. Beaulieu had a big catch for the REDBLACKS in the opening meeting back on August 17th. A 15-yard pickup for the burly fullback out of Sherbrooke.
Ottawa offensively does a nice job creating plays for their fullback. He's not going to get a lot of touches, obviously, in this offense. They kind of get the most out of them when they do go to him.
Haven't heard from that guy, William Powell, in a bit, so Gets the ball, but the flags fly and whistle blows. There's movement on the line. This play does not get off.
Procedure. Ottawa, number 58. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Jason Lauzon-Seguin. Legal procedure. Member of the Laval Rouge et Or. John Gott, the bearded one on that line. He's been a spectator the last month and a half. Boy, he's itching to get back at it tonight. Delay draw. Powell stutter stepping on first down. Gott's been such a fixture on the O-line, and then for whatever reason has been the odd man out.
Yeah, and I think a little bit of a youth movement happening in Ottawa. We've talked many times over the years about the fact this is a team that has used first-round picks on offensive linemen literally every year of their existence. And so trying to get some of those guys in the lineup. But with Nolan McMillan injured, Gott is back in as a starter this week.
There's the blitz, and Harris is hammered. Loose ball. But it's incomplete pass, and Trevor Harris blindsided by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, who came with some serious heat. So now it's third down, and now Lewis Ward comes out. Unlikely that they're going to fake this time. This is going to be a 42-yarder to tie the CFL record for most consecutive completions. 38 in a row, the record 39 in a row set by Rennie Paredes. This to tie for the rookie, and he has done it. The rookie has now matched Rennie Paredes' mark of 39 in a row. What a remarkable season. And is one away from making history.
Very smooth operation there. The snap.
After the play, we have major foul, unnecessary roughness. Winnipeg, number 95. We'll apply 15 yards. We're going to place the ball.
So Lewis Ward, a guy at training camp. We've talked to the coaches and GM Marcel Desjardins. He wasn't even on the radar at training camp.
Yeah, just kind of a guy who earned a look by virtue of what he had done at nearby University of Ottawa. Terrific numbers there over the course of his career. Broke an OUA record for career field goals. All-time leading scorer at the University of Ottawa. But every opportunity they gave him at training camp, he impressed. And as camp went on, he earned the job.
42 of 43 this season, only missed in the first game.
Yeah.
And who would have thought, as the months progressed, that Lewis Ward would put his name in the CFL record books. Not that that should be surprising for any kicker, but this is a rookie kicker who essentially was a walk-on. Andrew Harris slips a tackle and has his best run of the night, and he's still going. Churning for more yardage up near the Winnipeg 45. A 23-yard rumble from Andrew Harris.
23 yards, and he earned every one of them. Andrew Harris bounces, plays off a couple of tackle attempts there.
Hardly, you talked about it. Andrew Harris now 91 yards rushing to Powell 75. By the end of the night, Andrew Harris could be the rushing leader. They run the reverse to Dembski, and he's going to go for a loss. He fumbled the football. A.C. Leonard has it. And the first turnover by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Nick Dembski separated from the football, and the Red Blacks have it.
Yeah, Dembski's going to come right into the camera. They couldn't get things sealed up on the edge. Dembski, you saw, surrounded by a number of black jerseys as he's trying to turn the corner. Ball pops free. AC Leonard, defensive end, the man who comes up with it.
So AC Leonard's third fumble recovery of the season puts the ball at the 42. And Powell cutting back and forth is at the 40. This is the third straight drive for the Red Blacks on Winnipeg's side of the field. Again, field goals are good, but the Red Blacks would much rather have touchdowns in a one-possession ball game.
Let's go, man.
They don't get it here. Will they bring Lewis Ward out? We have 46-yarder. Looking for a first down here. Bombers load up the box and rush forward. Looks like it could be close to a first down, though, as Sinopoli has another catch. And Brad Sinopoli, 4 straight 1,000-yard seasons for the former quarterback, another U of Ottawa alumnus. Last Canadian receiver in Ottawa to do that, 4 straight 1,000s, Tony Gabriel. That's a long time ago.
Yeah, 4 straight over 1,000 yards.
And the Red Blacks are not going for it. 3rd and 1. They're going to bring out Lewis Ward here. This to make it 40 straight, which would put him alone in the CFL record books. 39-yarder, close to the 40, to make it 40 in a row. And Lewis Ward, history maker, record breaker. How about this kid? Smallest guy in the league. Has had the most consistent foot.
Well, my favorite part, his holder and partner in crime, Richie Leone, he made the kick. You're used to seeing guys sprint down the field on a missed kick to cover it. Richie Leone went like he was shot from a cannon to go retrieve the ball for his buddy,
who earned the nickname Rudy at the U of Ottawa. St. Louis here. Ward, 40 straight. Now a new CFL record for consecutive field goals made. Matt Nichols fumbles the ball, and Ottawa has it again. And it's all going wrong for Winnipeg's offense right now. There's no signal yet, but they are actually saying it's Winnipeg ball. And from here, initially, it looked like Kai Hebert had been on top of the football.
And nobody at the bottom of that pile wants to let go.
Watch Kai Hebert come into this scene here. Initially, no. And, well, it did look like he had it for a bit. No.
It's out. It's way up by Hebert's helmet.
Greasy pigskin. So it is Winnipeg ball, and the Bombers lucky here. Mike O'Shea seeing an 11-point lead shrink to 5. Nichols gunning near sideline, incomplete on 2nd down, and Ottawa's going to get it back when we begin the 4th quarter. Final play of the 3rd quarter. The Bombers have the lead. A night that Lewis Ward won't forget in an incredible season. 40 in a row. No rookie has ever done anything close to that. Congratulations, Lewis Ward. You're in the CFL record book. As we were going to break, Mike O'Shea is throwing out some yellow challenge flag on what he thought was a catch right in front of him. So trying to use that. They'll send this to CFL command. It was right in front of O'Shea in the Winnipeg bench. Feeling that this would continue momentum as well for his offense. No one had a better view than Mike O'Shea. So did he catch? Did he trap? Did it bounce? Was it good? Call on the field was incomplete. Boy, it looks like he had it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that view it was actually the one where I could see where there was doubt, as it almost looked like the front point of the ball might have come through his arms and hit the turf, but take a close look here. But from all other angles, it certainly looked to me like Adams made the catch. I think even there, the point of the ball comes through, but
I think it got him on his thigh.
Yeah, and I think he's got enough of his arm under that. So I think that he's made that catch.
Teams have changed sides for the fourth quarter. 5-point Winnipeg lead, looking to move to 8-7 here tonight. Chaos in the West. Placement and jockeying continues. So again, the evidence has to be conclusive. They're taking a lot of looks at it. But here is what Kim Murphy has to say from command.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Incomplete pass. Winnipeg has charged their first team timeout with 1 timeout remaining.
So
it's
probably
third down.
Probably the same thing that you were looking at is what they couldn't look at, is that there wasn't really evidence.
Yeah, it's not conclusive, so the call will stand.
And again, Mike O'Shea on challenges this year, not batting a very good percentage.
Yeah, 1 for 6 now for the Bomber head coach.
Challenge worked out earlier for Rick Campbell, not for the Bombers here tonight. A night of record-breaking for the REDBLACKS. Just had some drama. The real drama for this home side is to try to get the W, increase their lead in the East. Spencer has an edge. There's a flag down. This is likely coming back. Nice return. 5-point Winnipeg lead.
Found a lower price on tires?
On the
we'll
return.
Match it, guaranteed.
It is an illegal block on Ottawa, so we'll bring the ball back inside the 20-yard line. So that's a lot worse than what it might have been for Deontay Spencer, who's had some good returns on the kick and the punt tonight. 39-yard difference. Defenses have ratcheted up intensity in the second half. There's a hitch to Spencer, gets a block from R.J. Harris. Then he is scrunched near the 32-yard line. Brandon Alexander there.
Swarming to the football. It's a Bomber defense. Meanwhile, in the pits, Brandon Bryant slow to get up. Trainers are out to see the big D tackle.
Very close game on the scoreboard and in the statistical ledgers. Dwayne, 4 sacks to 2, turnover apiece. Both teams with 3 points off of turnovers tonight. Almost the same amount of 2-and-outs. And all on Lewis Ward night here in Ottawa. The kid has done it. 5 feet 7 inches of him. An enormous leg. Might not be done yet here, and they may need him to continue this streak. Call the play back. Play clock came down to 0. Knocked down on 2nd down. Chris Randall right there.
One of the unsung heroes of this Bomber defense to me is Chris Randall on that boundary corner. Makes a great read, and you see he's able to sit back, facing in, eyes on the quarterback the whole way, allowing him to get a great jump on this throw. Come through with the right hand to score the knockdown.
Ottawa 3 2-and-outs in their last 4 drives. Low driving kick. Fogg in front of the Ottawa bench. Makes a couple miss and then snowed under near the 47-yard line on a 45-yard boot. Winnipeg's offense back on the field. Matt Nichols trying to get the W here for the W in the nation's capital. Ah, yes, Winnipeg fans. Jets on TSN. It continues Tuesday. Kings take on the Jets, 6:30 Central, TSN 3 and in 4K. And in the Jets region and on TSN 1290 radio. Bomber fans, blue and gold. And there's a power failure. We know where this guy is going to be tonight. It is a cool night. Temperatures drop. That's when the playoff races start to heat up. It is October, Thanksgiving weekend. Andrew Harris following a block. And he gets pasted near the 50. I think the defenses at halftime got together and said, hey, enough of this.
The stops haven't come easy, though. Andrew Harris continues churning away, putting up some yards. Getting close to 100 there. You see the passing yards on the quarterbacks. Matt Nichols moves close to 200.
Andrew 6 yards away from a 100-yard night. This time out of the backfield. First down and another 15 likely. Oh! A big hurdle by Andrew Harris. And Matt Nichols was also punished as he threw that football. They'll add on 15 here.
Yeah, this was one where
Major foul, roughing the passer. Ottawa number 95. 15 yards to the end of play, automatic first down.
This is one where I thought Danny Mason had a chance to lay off. Mason coming from the bottom right side of that defensive line on your screen.
That one hurt. Blindsided. 15-yard penalty, roughing the passer. And Andrew Harris does his best Mark McCoy. Wow. Few of those this year. Close to the red zone, that 20-yard line. Ottawa REDBLACKS. Not too many penalty yards here tonight. Rico Murray rips the helmet off of Weston Dressler, and more penalties coming. Another 15-yarder right here. Rico Murray takes Dressler's head off. There's aggression and
major foul,
there's a lack
unnecessary
of
roughness. Ottawa number 3 will go up half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down, Winnipeg.
Half the distance puts them in scoring range.
There you'll see the tail end.
Probably was going to be a horse collar anyway. And Weston Dressler, lucky he didn't get a shot
to
the bear's skull there.
On the ground.
Very lucky for Dressler. But again, the REDBLACKS. So many penalty yards here. Bombers looking to make them pay. Down to the 13. Nichols fires. Touchdown, and it should be Weston Dressler. Who does make the REDBLACKS pay.
Well, the penalties proved costly. Ottawa, at this point, approaching 150 yards in penalties in this football game. Big chunk coming on that drive. which results in a Blue Bomber touchdown.
Great job, baby.
The veteran Weston Dressler, 123 straight games now with at least one reception and counting. Blue Bombers point after for Medlock. They elect to go after the single point when you have a sure foot like Medlock. Mike O'Shea says, why wouldn't we take it rather than go for two? Makes it 29-17. Weston Dressler has his helmet, almost his head ripped off. Ends up spiking the ball in the end zone after a touchdown. Weston Dressler's third touchdown. Lucky still has his head on his shoulders. But he had the football in the end zone. Touchdown pass from Matt Nichols.
Yeah, quick out from Dressler. Nichols keeps that throw low and outside. A sure-handed North Dakotan goes and gets it.
A couple of touchdown passes tonight for Nichols. REDBLACKS trying to light a fuse here. Flag down. Well, we've had a few connections tonight. How about this Shaw connection of the game, which led to the touchdown?
Yeah, part of that drive, no surprise. Matt Nichols to Andrew Harris. Does the high wire act to finish that one off.
Shaw connection of the game. Andrew Harris might assume the CFL rushing lead by the end of the night. Ottawa had crept within 5 points. Now a 12-point lead again. Harris. To Sinopoli. The REDBLACKS really haven't had any big plays offensively. They've gone deeper than 10 or 12 yards for the most part.
Well, you look at the numbers for the REDBLACKS. I've been handed a note here by the Angry Bird, John Perlberg, tonight's statistician.
William Powell has a first down. Slices near the 27.
And this has been the challenge for Ottawa, has been trying to match that first half. Remember, both teams came out of the gate on fire. Ottawa had 160 net yards in the first half. In the second half to this point, just over 100. About 107 right now.
Harris in trouble. Flattened from behind. Took a heavy hit. Jake Thomas. Incomplete pass will set up second down. Ottawa team that came out gunning here tonight. Trevor Harris didn't have too much pressure, but right now is feeling a lot of heat.
Jake Thomas from his D tackle spot, big part of that Bombers D-line rotation.
4 for 9, second half. Harris over the top for Sinopoli. Broken up there by Marcus Sayles. Sinopoli couldn't Velcro that one. Richie Leone.
Well, Sayles in coverage. Really, as a defensive player, hasn't been talked about a lot, but a guy who's been one of the top rookies in the league himself this season.
Last week had a big punt block in the win over Edmonton. 3 picks on the year. West Georgia. Kevin Fogg tripped out near the 50-yard line. Winnipeg owning momentum right now, and every week on the CFL, we get wired.
I need your best, Johnny. I need your best today, boy. I need your best today.
So what we got?
You can't go out tackle. What can you do? What can you do, bro? Oh! Let's go!
CFL Wire Thursday, 12 a.m. Eastern, 9 Pacific time on TSN2.
I would not have thought that Drake Nevis could get his voice up that high.
Who's Drake? And off to Dembski this time. Winnipeg's version of thunder and lightning, or lightning and lightning maybe. Winnipeg natives, high school football stars who have become stars in the Canadian Football League. Dembski's had a big night here. And a counter play. It's the other Winnipeg guy, Andrew Harris. Bashing and crashing over the 45-yard line, and the Blue Bombers are really starting to control this game.
Yeah, taking it over again. We talked about Ottawa's offensive struggles, just over 100 yards in total offense for Ottawa since the end of the first quarter, after putting up over 100 in the opening 15 minutes. Just inabilities to sustain drives. Look like they might have a chance to get back in it in the third quarter. Winnipeg having some ball security issues, but the Bombers carrying the momentum right now.
Love that spin move that Harris has in the backfield. Now about 106 yards for Andrew Harris. Just keeps piling up the real estate.
Yeah, he's gone over 100 on the ground tonight for the 21st time in his Canadian Football League career.
Still a lot of time on the clock, Dwayne. This is a big second down for the Ottawa REDBLACKS.
A chance to.
Still would be a 2-possession game, but Winnipeg maintains control. They get a first down, eat up more clock. Might make it moot for Trevor Harris and company.
This is the thing, if you can get that stop, as you said, even if it's a Justin Medlock field goal that keeps the margin at 15 points.
Might have a chance, but they're not going to. Another first down. Matt Nichols, who we said had sort of this Jekyll Hyde thing with the REDBLACKS. 19 career touchdown passes, more than any other opponent, but also the interceptions. Has been clean tonight and has been very efficient.
Yeah, Matt Nichols doing a nice job. We talked off the top about him wanting to erase some demons from earlier this season against this Ottawa team. I think Matt Nichols has done a pretty nice job of that, and even within this game in terms of overcoming adversity, bouncing back when a couple breaks have gone against the Bombers.
When all is said and done tonight, you dissect the stats. Second down conversions might be everything tonight. The Bombers have dominated big time.
14 of 22 opportunities in that regard.
Just eats up a lot of the clock. They've been bleeding it. That Ottawa defense may be running out of gas. Need a stop. Bombers looking for a first down. Nichols calls his own number. He doesn't do too often, but Nichols will move the yardsticks again. And most importantly, tick down the clock some more.
Well, this is it. With each successive first down picked up by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, time increasingly becomes the enemy of Ottawa in this football game. You know, and I've seen both quarterbacks do it at times in this game. Neither Matt Nichols nor Trevor Harris are guys who are known as what you would call running quarterbacks or scrambling quarterbacks, but it's understanding those times when you need to tuck it and run. Just get to that first down yardage. Just being aware of the situation, recognizing when you need to take advantage of that part of your game.
Harris in the eye, swallowed at the line of scrimmage. Wasn't too long ago the Bombers were in a 4-game funk. Matt Nichols just seemed to lose his mojo. The Boo Birds were raining down, and what's been the difference? I mean, obviously winning is a great elixir, but Matt Nichols looks like a completely different quarterback as he was during that slump.
Yeah, 18 games, as much as it seems like a short season when you compare it to hockey or basketball or baseball, the fact is, it's a long season in the sense that you're going to have some ups and downs over the course of it.
You know what another factor is? Having that guy around.
Yeah, that certainly helps. Another reliable veteran. Even keel guy in the huddle.
Such a great safety valve. Always know on those second downs. So the Red Blacks do bend, they don't break. The time's their enemy right now. Successful field goal for Medlock. Make it 6 in a row here tonight. Makes it a 2-possession game. And the Red Blacks will have to operate fast and furious, and they just haven't been able to accumulate yardage or points in the second half. So the lead is now 15. The Bombers 4 minutes and 36 seconds away from going back home with their 8th win of the season. Red Blacks need a comeback in a big way.
Found a lower price on tires? We'll match it, guaranteed.
Two teams who came in tonight with 2-game win streaks, both coming off wins over the Eskimos. Bombers look to make it 3 in a row. Ottawa's streak in jeopardy. Unless they do more of this, they need to score quickly here. Sinopoli up near the midfield stripe. One of their bigger plays, 19 yards. Moving the ball early and efficiently, but not in the second half almost at all.
Well, Sinopoli, as usual, working out of the slot, is just going to hook up in that soft spot in coverage.
Harris again, floating one, dangerous. Down the sideline and pushed out of bounds. As Julian Feoli-Godino, the former Blue Bomber, has his first catch of the night.
Yeah, right along the sidelines there is kind of the moment where everybody was wondering, everyone in the stadium's kind of wondering who was going to come up with that football.
Harris again, stands in, floats it out. Greg Ellingson slipped and couldn't snag that. So it'll be second down. Clock ticking down to 3:50.
And it looked like the release of Trevor Harris.
Timeout, Ottawa.
Was impacted by a bomber or defender in that backfield. Caused that throw to flutter and come up a little bit short.
Even though Winnipeg has a 15-point lead. And Ottawa hasn't done much in the second half. The Red Blacks' ability to get 2-point converts.
Yeah, I mean, the 2-point converts and just the fact that they have the potential to be something of a quick strike team in terms of how, even on this drive, you know, I mean, Winnipeg has had these long, time-consuming drives that have eaten up the clock, limiting Ottawa's opportunities, but Ottawa has shown an ability to strike back quickly.
Pump and go. Harris, Feoli-Godino can walk in. Touchdown! Don't go anywhere. Red Blacks are going to line up for a single point. Lewis Ward's coming out.
You'll see on this play the defender, Kevin Fogg, blew a tire. You see him just recovering there at the end of the play.
Feoli-Godino's first touchdown since he wore blue and gold.
And in terms of his footwork, Fogg may have gotten himself in a little bit of a trouble where there was a double move and a pump fake from Harris.
So Lewis Ward doesn't want to have his party spoiled tonight, 40. Puts the point after, and so that makes it an 8-point ball game. And there's still lots of time. And the Red Blacks are still very much in it. And you talked quick strike. That was lightning quick.
Yeah, 4 plays, 75 yards in just 52 seconds. You talk about a team playing to the situation. Time ticking on them. The Red Blacks get it done in a hurry, including a couple big plays from the former Bomber, Julian Feoli-Godino.
Who had 3 touchdowns as a Bomber last year, his first as a member of the Red Blacks, the Rouge Noir. He used to play for the Rouge Or. The Val was a star there, Julian Feo-Ligadino. Well, not done yet. And as we've seen in the CFL the last few weeks, no lead is safe. Leone took looking to pin the Bombers deep. Pick fielded at the 15. Dembski goes down near the 28-yard line. Nigel Romick, one of the special teams leaders for tackles in the CFL. We've got a number of those leaders in here tonight.
Yeah, here you see Nigel Romick, St. Mary's product.
So now it's up to Ottawa's D, and they've been on the field a lot here tonight. Bombers have owned the clock. They have an 8-point lead. Getting close to the 3-minute warning. Noah Thorpe signals in a play. They load it up. They bring a blitz. There goes the ball. Darvin Adams has the catch. Looks like he's got about 6. 8th catch of the night. Got hit hard on the back. It'll be 2nd and 3. They give him 7. And as you can see, it's the 3-minute warning in the town of Plaid, the nation's capital, and the Bombers with the lead. It is a statistician's nightmare right now, figuring out the West. BC, of course, plays Toronto tomorrow. Saskatchewan and Edmonton Monday. Calgary, Montreal on Monday, too. Come down to the wire. Getting close to almost certainty there will be a crossover west to east, but who will it be? Might see Winnipeg in the east, too. Crossing over, and it is a first down, 2nd and 3 out of the 3-minute warning. And Mr. Reliable, Andrew Harris, over 100 yards tonight again.
Well, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have dominated the time of possession in this football game. At this point, just over 35 minutes for Winnipeg to 22 for Ottawa. Obviously, the Bombers hoping to continue with that ball control offense for another 2.5 minutes here and close this game out.
Double tight end set. The Bombers have done very well on first down as well, making seconds so manageable. Not this time. Chopping down Andrew Harris. Corey Tyndall rifling in. Only 2nd. That was a loss of 1 on the play. 2nd and 11. Dembski comes in. Tompkins comes in.
And you talking
about timeout, Ottawa.
Talking about that time of possession. Let's bear in mind, Ottawa has had 2 touchdown scoring drives in this game of over 70 yards, which have taken them less than 2 minutes to cover. So if you're Winnipeg, yeah, this is a big 2nd down. You do not want to leave Trevor Harris much, if any, time on the clock.
Nichols has had a good night throwing the football. Bombers have been really good on 2nd down. Red Blacks loading up the box, showing blitz. Here it comes. Nichols is hammered.
Oh, well-timed halfback blitz. It's Corey Tyndall. His 2nd sack of the season.
The Red Blacks are going to get it back, Dwayne. Matt Nichols couldn't even get his feet set. Tyndall was on him.
Yeah, watch Tyndall looping in from his halfback position. He's going to go A-gap. Unaccounted for in that protection scheme with a short line to the quarterback.
Deontay Spencer's back at his 30. He's already had a couple of nice returns tonight. This is a monstrous kick by Medlock. Back to the 20. Spencer. It's going to be dropped near the 32-yard line. And now it's a 2-minute offense. Under 2 minutes to go for Trevor Harris. Trying to find a way to get his team even. Need a score and a 2-point convert. A 56-yard kick by Justin Medlock. And as we have seen, a team that can take it vertical quickly. Trevor Harris 3-0 last October. All 3 wins were fourth quarter comebacks. Here's the start. Right now they're looking for a fourth quarter tie.
Well, this is it for Trevor Harris. We'll worry about the 2-point convert when we get to that point. Right now it's about getting the ball down the field quickly.
Fumble football, and Winnipeg. Oh, they're saying it's incomplete.
Yeah, that one was out of there pretty quickly.
Out of there quickly, but the whistle was really late. Sinopoli looked like he was a little nicked up. He'll get back in the huddle, and it'll come down to a 3rd down play now in ball game for the Red Blacks.
I mean, in slow motion, it looks like a catch and a fumble, but real speed. I know the command center would initiate any sort of review.
Timer. Reset the clock to read 1:31. 1:31 on the clock, please.
Bronx cheer from the crowd. 2 more seconds added. And here's the significance. It's 3rd down and 3. Red Blacks have to get to their 43. Or this comeback will be thwarted. Floated up, and it's caught. What a catch! Clutch grab by Greg Ellingson. Climbing the ladder.
I saw that ball come out of Trevor Harris's hand, and I thought,
it was a wobbler.
This one might be over. But Ellingson stays with it, goes up and gets it.
By the command center.
When you see the way he came down with the football in his hands, they just want to make sure that he didn't trap it.
I know he kind of came down and the ball did hit the turf.
Yeah, I mean, to me, there's not a moment where he does not have the ball securely between his hands.
There's a guy with great hands, Greg Ellingson. There has been so much drama in this stadium since this team came back into the league. Kind of used to this stuff, aren't we?
Yeah, since 2014.
Fans have been treated to some weekly showcases. Red Blacks lining up. Here's the decision from command as they were looking on that.
After automatic review by the command center, the ruling on the field stands. It's 1st down.
127. 8-point ball game. Good time again this short yardage. And William Powell, hardly been heard from in the second half, has a gigantic play here. Down to the 45.
When you see the lower body strength of William Powell as he catches this ball out in the right flat, the hit comes right away. Bounces off of it, keeps his balance, barely affected.
Now one-on-one, far side, and it is not caught. Ellingson watched on that far side by Kevin Fogg. One of those that Greg Ellingson, you just kind of think he's going to make those superhuman catches all the time.
Yeah, #1 receiver, the outside man. to the wide side. It's a nice adjustment to the ball.
Again, Rick Campbell has no challenges left. Might have had a case there. So it's second down. Minute to go. Here comes the heat. Ball caught. And going backwards, it's going to set up another third down, third and short. Once again, Fioli Godino, who's suddenly become the X factor in this ball game. Here it comes, 3rd and 1. Harris, a little confusion here. He's going to operate out of the gun on 3rd down. Hand it to Powell, and he'll get the first down.
An impressive drive here by the Red Blacks. We talked about their ability to move the ball quickly. Still 50 seconds left on the clock.
Ottawa team that just seems to play better when they play faster. Time ticks away. Harris, and unable to catch up with it is R.J. Harris. It's flying into the Ottawa sideline and almost into the kicking net. 41 to go.
Well, the one upside of the incompletion is that one will stop the clock, allowing the Red Blacks to huddle briefly.
Winnipeg looking for a bounce back after losing to Ottawa back in August. 41 seconds away. Red Blacks need a touchdown and a 2-point convert. Harris rifles it in. Down inside the 20 and chewing at Fioli Godino with another clutch grab. Another first down. Clock down to 33. And the Red Blacks threatening.
Fioli Godino once again lines up out wide.
They line it up again at the 15. Fioli Godino, 3 catches all season. He has 4 tonight. Over the top, and it's Ellingson. 3rd effort down inside the 10-yard line, close to the 5, but the clock is at 20.
Well, this game started with a bang and a flurry of offense, and it's kind of finishing the same way.
The Oriole middle was all defense, wasn't it? Here we go. 2nd and 2. 2nd and 2. They don't need to get to the end zone, but might they? Yes, they will! Touchdown, Greg Ellingson! And now, partner, it comes down to the 2-point convert.
Yes, it does. You know, and Matthew Shinetti talked earlier about how people have asked the question, can Trevor Harris get it done in these clutch situations late in the game? Well, making a pretty good case for himself tonight.
But it could all be for naught if they don't get 2 here. Best team at 2-point converts in the CFL. Must get 2. And then we're likely headed to overtime. Harris, a wobbler, it's caught by Ellingson for 2. No lead is safe in the Canadian Football League. And the Ottawa Red Blacks, down 15, have fought all the way back and likely have taken this game to overtime. Mr. October, Trevor Harris, does it again.
Just a tremendous drive led by Trevor Harris. Big plays from a variety of receivers, but how about Mr. Clutch himself for this Red Blacks team over the years, Greg Ellingson.
How about the catches?
Yeah, I mean, a couple of tough catches for him on that drive, and of course he's the man scoring the touchdown and the 2-point convert to tie the game.
3-0 last October. All 3 fourth-quarter drives. Mike O'Shea has seen a 15-point lead evaporate.
Exact same thing that, hey, look at me. Do the exact same thing you did, all right? Probably
So there still is 12 seconds left. Richie Leone's going to have to boot this deep. Winnipeg Blue Bombers. The issue is just to get it into field goal range. That would take up most of the clock. So we're likely headed to overtime here, barring a penalty of some sort. An exciting game here tonight. Ball's on the carpet. So 7 seconds to go. Matt Nichols comes out. Might he be tempted to take a shot? 7 seconds. Still won't get it into field goal range unless you had a penalty and not enough time. So maybe likely just thinking getting it into the overtime shootout here. We'll see.
Well, I mean, you mentioned the possibility of a penalty. You throw it deep and take that chance that maybe that gives you an opportunity to get that one more play and trot out Justin Medlock, who's had a terrific night himself.
Winnipeg had too many men in the huddle. Nick Dembski scurries to the sideline. 7 to go, and it looks like we're going to overtime. They're going to line up. What a game this has been tonight. Started off with a bang, and it's going to end with overtime here tonight. And it still might come down to that little guy who's got that long streak. For a while, it didn't look like Lewis Ward might be celebrating tonight after his CFL streak. But he might have to kick a field goal here tonight in OT. 40 in a row now for that guy. Trevor Harris on that game-tying drive was only perfect, partner.
Yes, sir. Trevor Harris led the Ottawa REDBLACKS down the field. On this drive, he went 7 for 7. REDBLACKS covering 73 yards, culminating in the touchdown and 2-point convert from Harris to Greg Ellingson.
Bombers did everything they could in the second half to control Trevor Harris, and did until that drive, last 2. So here's what happens in OT. Maximum of 2 mini games. You want to score first, put points on the board, and get the other team to match. The game tonight.
Okay, gentlemen, we'll have a coin toss. Winnipeg, you'll call the toss. Just as a reminder, the team logo is tails, the CFL logo is heads. The winner of the toss cannot defer. You have a choice of offense, defense, or which end of the field we go to for the first mini game. Okay? Do you understand? Winnipeg, you call it. Heads is called. It is a tail. Defense. You'll go on defense. Which end of the field do you want to play? Which end do you want to go? This down at this end? First down, Winnipeg at the 35-yard line. Good luck, gentlemen.
So Winnipeg, the 35. So a game tonight where time of possession has meant everything and nothing.
Yeah.
Because you got a team that has been able to milk the clock, and a team that uses the clock so effectively when they have the ball.
Yeah, exactly. You look at the final time of possession. Winnipeg, 36 minutes, 22 seconds. Ottawa, the remaining 23 minutes, 38 seconds. So a difference of close to 13 minutes in Winnipeg's favor. Both teams ending up with, as you said, the exact same thing on the scoreboard, just getting there in different ways. One team with long time-consuming drives. The other team getting it done quickly.
Matt Nichols rolling out to Andrew Harris. Shoestring tackle made. Corey Tyndall's been all over the field here tonight. Set up second and short for the Bombers. Looking to find the end zone. If you're going to get the ball first, you Really got to put a touchdown on the board. Cannot be stopped, cannot turn the ball over. Otherwise, it's almost fait accompli. So it's a first down.
Well, especially with the two kickers we have tonight, Lewis Ward and Justin Medlock. A couple of money guys.
First overtime games of the year for both of these squads. There's Harris again, and Andrew Harris working a little overtime tonight. Another first down for Winnipeg. Harris came in tonight. Second place in the rushing race. Maybe the leader by the end of the night.
Yeah, I think he just overtook him on that last carry.
Looking for a victory. Nichols throwing for Dembski, and now a big second down here in overtime. Bomber team looked like it had a win in their wallet.
Yeah.
Suddenly the Red Blacks sprung to life. Big second down. Blitz again. Nichols over the middle. Touchdown. Weston Dressler.
Well, Ottawa tried to bring a similar blitz with Corey Tyndall coming from the weak side half, trying to get into the middle. He got stopped up, wasn't able to get to Nichols as he did late in regulation. The sack that gave Ottawa another chance. This time the Bombers get things blocked up, allowing Nichols the time to get that ball to Dressler. Now they have to go for two in overtime, which obviously has been something much more in Ottawa's wheelhouse than in Winnipeg's.
Winnipeg's only gone for two twice this season, made one. So advantage Red Blacks, but they still have to score a touchdown here. Winnipeg looking for the two, and they will get it. Darvin Adams. So now Ottawa's turn. They must answer with a touchdown and a successful 2-point to extend overtime, or it will be over.
Well, credit a Blue Bomber team that had lost all the momentum in the final minutes of regulation to kind of shake that off, put that emotion aside and go to work. And that's Matt Nichols getting it done. First to Dressler, then to Adams. Now the pressure back on Trevor Harris and his group.
Ellingson, Boyu, the wideouts here. Deontay Spencer in motion. Bombers loaded up, but they're going to hand it off to William Powell. There's a penalty flag. Flag was thrown after Powell was wrapped up. Holding against Ottawa. Bomber defense wants to know what to do here. Move them back.
Holding. Ottawa, number 56. It's a 10-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Just got harder for the Red Blacks. They start at the 45 on first down, but first and 20.
Well, tough start, but I'm not sure this is the most adversity Trevor Harris has faced tonight.
And the likes the odds stacked against them, and tiptoeing again on the sideline. That gets to the initial line of scrimmage. Greg Ellingson putting on a pass catching exhibition here tonight. Beauty. Oh, it actually was 13 yards, so it's 2nd and 7, much more manageable. We're in overtime, a TD place in Ottawa. REDBLACKS must score a touchdown. 7 yards to go, and again in traffic. Welcome to the Greg Ellingson Show, everybody.
Well, listen, it's clutch time. This is Greg Ellingson's world right now.
So at first down.
Just another day at the office for number 82.
REDBLACKS showing some patience and poise here in the face of adversity. Powell lined up in the eye. High snap. They go up the middle to William Powell. Well, second down conversions are a lot easier when your tailback gives you 8 or 9 yards.
Well, breathe easy at 2nd and 2 after coming back from 1st and 20 a minute ago.
Second and 2. Behind center this time. Powell, depending on the spot, likely going to be stopped. Set up a 3rd down play. Greg Ellingson, by the way, 6 catches in the game-tying drive and this drive. 2 catches previously in the entire game.
Well, we thought of Greg Ellingson as a clutch performer, but it's very clear that Trevor Harris and Jamie Elizondo think so as well based on the play calling.
So they are likely going to be short by that much. Now a must-make 3rd down. Dominic Davis comes in. Remember, Davis came in on a 3rd down play earlier in the ball game and fumbled. This time he has to get the ball down close to the 12-yard line. If he doesn't, it's game over. Third and 1. Davis lines up in the gun. Is he going to go behind center? Yes, he will. And a stretch out for that 1st down. Bombers think they stopped him.
Yeah, there was a pretty clear surge. Oh, and they're going to hurt themselves with field position with an unnecessary roughness call. At the end of this is likely going against Ottawa.
First things first, they had to get the 1st down. That unnecessary roughness call came after the play.
The result of the play was a 1st down, but after the play, we have major foul, unnecessary roughness. Ottawa, number 65. We'll take it back 15 yards. It'll be 1st down, Ottawa.
All right, that's a big chunk. Back 15, so all of that yardage gained, taken away because of this.
Yeah, watch 55, Sir Vincent Rogers. Launches Thomas Miles off the pile.
Huge issue for the Ottawa REDBLACKS in this game, penalties.
Yeah, that's their 12th penalty for an astounding 174 yards.
Still have a chance to get in this game. Harris pulls it back. Dishes it off to Spencer. Now Trevor Harris, 2nd down. Feoli Godino comes into the ballgame. What an impact he had.
Yeah, stepping up with a few big catches, including the touchdown that pulled them within 1 score.
It's lined up at the top of your screen. 2nd down and 9. Blitz again. And thrown behind Sinopoli. It's going to come down to another 3rd down, but this is not 3rd and 1. This is 3rd and 9 yards. And again, ball game looms.
We're just looking at the personnel package that Ottawa has in. Two-back set. Brendan Delander's in the game. We'll see what they do protection-wise if they're going to max protect here.
Now look for 82. It's been Ellingson all the way. Sinopoli, he has to bash forward. Did he get there? I am not sure he got the first down.
Well, the spot is everything here.
Mike O'Shea looking at the far sideline, which would be the 16.5-yard line.
Well, the sticks are coming over for a measurement.
Brad Sinopoli, watch as he goes backwards. Here it is, ball game on this measurement coming up.
Chris Randall was there
first
right away
down.
with the head.
This might be one of the longest overtimes ever played the way it's going. Ottawa may accumulate so much yardage considering they only had to go 35.
But it's one of those games that, based on the way it's gone, honestly, you don't really want it to end.
I don't want it to end. Again, Ottawa has to score, then get two. Empty out the backfield. Trevor Harris stands in, crossing pattern, cutting back, and fumble football. And did Winnipeg get it? If they did, it's over. It is over. And the Blue Bombers bend, and they don't break. In overtime tonight, some drama in the nation's capital. Ottawa REDBLACKS came rallying all the way back, but the Winnipeg Blue Bombers come up with the biggest stop right here. It's Brad Sinopoli gets hit and fumbles the football.
Yeah, makes a move fighting towards the end zone. Adam Bighill comes flying from the middle of the field to make the tackle. Watch the pursuit of Bighill right here. Gets a hand on the ball to strip it. Javon Santos knocks. Falls on it. To end the game.
What a wild one here tonight. Yogi Berra would have loved this. It was over, not till it was over. And the final play was that fumble by Sinopoli. Bombers hang on by the skin of their teeth tonight. Move their record to 8-7. Nissan Titan player of the game, Matt Nichols.
Yes, sir. Terrific performance from the Blue Bomber quarterback, completing 75% of his passes for 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, finishes with 265 yards. Leading his team. Dominating performance in terms of time of possession, number of long drives throughout this one for the Blue Bombers, and getting it done in overtime. Number 15, Matty Ice, Matt Nichols, is your Nissan Titan player of the game.
Ice is it. Brought to you by Nissan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League. First time this year, Matt Nichols throws for 3 touchdowns. Big night for Weston Dressler, and the Bomber D come up big in overtime. Cough up the lead down the stretch. The Ottawa REDBLACKS now fall to 8-6, and the Hamilton Tiger Cats are watching. And Lewis Ward has a consecutive field goal streak of 40+, but they spoil his party tonight. The Bombers do, as they win 40-32 in OT in TD Place. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Good night from Ottawa. Sports Center coming your way right now.